Welcome to the Silent Mind. Today, we explore a subtle but powerful psychological pattern, the tendency for some individuals to pull away when intimacy begins to grow. At first, everything feels natural, conversation flows easily, vulnerability is shared, trust appears to be forming. Then something changes, messages become shorter, replies slow down, plans become uncertain. Emotional warmth quietly cools. To understand this pattern, we must first understand what closeness represents psychologically. Emotional closeness is not simply affection, it is exposure. It involves being seen, known, and understood beyond surface identity. For some individuals, this level of visibility feels comforting. For others, it activates something deeper. Intimacy often triggers vulnerability, and vulnerability requires trust in emotional safety. If someone has learned that closeness leads to pain, rejection, or loss, their nervous system may interpret intimacy as risk rather than reward. Pulling away becomes a form of protection rather than indifference. Attachment patterns also play a significant role. Individuals with avoidant tendencies often value independence and emotional self-reliance. When connection deepens, they may feel their autonomy shrinking. Closeness can feel like pressure rather than support. Distance restores their sense of control. This does not always mean they lack care. It often means closeness feels overwhelming. There is also the fear of dependency. Deep bonds create emotional interdependence. Your mood begins to matter. Your presence begins to matter. For someone uncomfortable relying on others, this emotional weight can feel destabilizing. Rather than communicate that discomfort, they withdraw. Past experiences further shape this behavior. If vulnerability was once met with criticism, betrayal, or abandonment, the mind stores that memory. When new closeness resembles old patterns, emotional alarms activate. Withdrawal feels safer than repeating history. Another layer involves identity. Some individuals define themselves through independence. Closeness challenges that self-concept. To maintain their identity, they unconsciously reduce emotional intensity. Pulling away restores familiar ground. Fear of being fully known also contributes. When someone sees beyond surface charm or social persona, hidden insecurities may feel exposed. The closer the bond, the less room there is for performance. For those who rely on carefully managed impressions, this transparency can feel threatening. Distance protects the mask. Communication differences can deepen misunderstanding. One person may interpret closeness as security. The other may interpret it as expectation. Without clear dialogue, both parties retreat into assumptions. Silence grows where reassurance is needed. There is also the paradox of desire. Many people long for intimacy in theory, yet when intimacy arrives, it challenges emotional habits built around self-protection. The heart seeks connection, the nervous system seeks safety. When those two systems conflict, behavior becomes inconsistent. Pulling away is sometimes the nervous system winning. Importantly, withdrawal does not always signal loss of interest. It can signal emotional overwhelm. Closeness increases emotional intensity. Not everyone is prepared to manage that intensity. Without emotional regulation skills, retreat feels like the only option. For those on the receiving end, this behavior can feel confusing or painful. You may question your worth. You may search for mistakes. You may replay conversations looking for what changed. Yet often, the shift reflects internal struggle rather than external rejection. Understanding this dynamic changes perspective. Not every withdrawal is about you. Sometimes it reflects someone else's relationship with vulnerability. That does not mean you must accept emotional inconsistency, but it allows clarity without self-blame. Healthy closeness requires two nervous systems that feel safe in connection. It requires communication, emotional awareness, and willingness to remain present when intimacy deepens. When one person moves closer and the other retreats, it often reveals different comfort levels with vulnerability. True connection cannot grow where fear remains unexamined. Ultimately, the question is not simply why people pull away when you get close. It is what closeness awakens within them. For some, it awakens warmth and belonging. For others, it awakens fear of exposure, dependency, or loss of control. Closeness is powerful. It reveals attachment patterns, emotional history, and inner fears. And sometimes, distance is not rejection. It is protection. This has been The Silent Mind, where silence reveals what noise cannot.